Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
Today, we have the chance to meet with Andy. Andy is joining us. My name is Evita. We are both top tier, but Andy's got a few more programs he's lucky enough to be a part of. So we just wanted to take today and talk a little bit about what the heck are they? What is top tier and why does it matter, really? So I will let Andy lead us off and kind of share a little bit about what top tier is and how he found his way here to us.
Yeah, top tier is we are in the top tier TC group. So basically we're transaction coordinators. We manage the transactions for investors from start to finish or anywhere in between whenever they're in dire need of someone to help them with their transaction.
Yes.
Yep.
So when you say you help them with it from contract to close, do you write contracts for them? You fill it out for them, save them a bunch of time?
No, I'm not a licensed attorney. I'm not a licensed CPA. I'm not a realtor.
Hey, we got to get it out there. It is a big question out there right now. I feel like it's important for us to start that discussion of what is it and what is it not?
Exactly. I've been getting a lot of talking to people, and they kind of expect a TC to write their contracts for them.
Yes. And that's why I say that, because I'm like, when we say top tier or TC, I hope that we can spark the discussion to separate that. Yeah. So that that's not the association, and that some of these other things that we are involved with are now your go-to thought of why you would want us to help. Do you want to share a little bit kind of like what our course looks like on a day-to-day basis, or what it is aside from just coursework? Yes. The who, what, when, where, why.
Yep. Go through sub-twos, transactions, wraps, got novations in there.
Yeah.
There's another one.
The Morby method.
Yep.
Go. That's cool. Yeah. I think, I don't know about for you, but I think the program for me has far exceeded my expectation. Well, yes and no, I guess. I'm like, you expect the video side of it of just, okay, we got to learn this stuff on paper. But I think kind of, we met through this course. I know there's a lot of other great people in this. And I think what's cool about somebody saying they're in top tier is that it's not just a license. It's not just a certification. It's not, and to be clear, like, we're not licensed by taking this course or anything of that nature. But I think it comes with this continuing education and the community that comes with it, that like, we all know each other just like this over video because we're sitting on Zooms, 20 hours a week or whatever it is, and asking our questions, and that live Q&A and going through contracts and talking to attorneys and title agents and whatever else they bring in for us. And I think that's maybe a part that when people hear that, they don't realize. That's pretty cool, honestly.
That's probably the coolest thing about it is the community is you're not just hiring ATC when you're top tier, you're hiring the community that's behind them.
Yes.
It's like every week there's Q&A Zooms going on that we can always go
to. No, definitely. And I think that's true, because it's not, and I hope people understand that, like, when I have said this to them, and I don't know what kind of response you've gotten, but I'm always telling them, like, no, I've got this community of people that, like, if I can't help you, yes, I'm new. I'm not trying to lie about that. Some ways, yes, certain things you've got to fake it till you make it and just do the thing. But otherwise, it's like, I'm not going to tell you I've done 1 million transactions and then show up and you're like, this girl has no clue what she's doing. But I'm like, the cool thing is I do have a group that someone's probably done it, or done a few, or is in your state, or has seen this kind of crazy thing before, and it went sideways, but they brought it through anyways. And I think that's super cool with it, and everybody's so willing to help, which I think is really refreshing.
And it gives me the confidence where I can tell people, and I've told them, if I don't have the answer to the question, I can get that answered for you.
Yes.
And we can't do that without the community that's backing us up.
No, not at all. And I don't know. So you're in sub 2 as well, correct?
Yeah.
So how does because I know sub 2 obviously pays highly promotes, or I don't know how you want to put it, but he's created this community. How do you feel like top tier has compared to sub 2 and kind of what you've seen there?
The biggest thing is that top tier, I feel like it's a closer knit community. There's not as many of us, which is a lot of it, but it's just a lot closer knit community. And sub 2, it's so broad. I mean, there's a bunch of like little like sub communities kind of within it. It's so large and whatnot. So
interesting.
Yeah.
See, I'm not part of sub 2, so this is new to me as well. That's why I'm always curious of like,
don't get me wrong.
Is it kind of the same program? Is it not?
Like sub 2 is it is the same thing. The community involved with it is amazing as well. There is people that are new investors like me, and then you have people that are in multi-million-dollar investments, and everyone in between there. And I mean, people doing novations, Morby methods, sub 2s, every creative transaction you can think of. There's someone there that can do it, or has done it, or can answer questions on it.
That's cool. I'm glad to hear that, because like I said, I do feel like that's interesting too, of like how that could affect how you go forward with this, or how you take certain things within top tier, because now you kind of have both to compare, or you're learning how to get the deal, and you're like, oh, I know exactly what they're talking about. Now I can go apply this and be like, okay, but over here they're telling us we need to be careful with this, or you can doesn't mean we should.
That's cool. One thing that's kind of nice for me, since I'm in both. I can kind of connect the dots a little bit for each side.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
That's awesome. So have you done any transactions yet? Remind me.
I have not yet.
Okay. And you've been in the program a couple months at this point, I think?
Since July.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I bring this up because I've been since about mid-August as well. And I think my hope is to I'm sure, I believe it's like this, I should say, with sub 2 as well, as like, I hope to give people an accurate depiction of like, we've learned so much, but it also doesn't mean like 2 days in, all of a sudden I'm doing, the 20 deals a month that Molly does, or whoever, that it's like, it takes a moment and that's okay. It'll happen. Cause the amount of people we've also seen, like they get their first deal and then all of a sudden they're building a team and it's crazy,
Yeah. I think I've got the knowledge, and I think you've got the knowledge. It's just, we just need to like do it now. We just need to get that file so we can apply it now.
Yes. And I've actually had, so this last week, I guess technically I got my first deal.
Nice.
So that's kind of crazy, but it's far from what I would have expected as a first deal. But it's been interesting. Like, I feel like you said, we have the knowledge, but I think that seeing it play out in real life, the amount it's taught me in just like a couple days is insane.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden I'm showing up to the QAs. I'm like, I might have a novation. I'm not sure. I thought it was a cash deal. Now we don't know. And they've been super, super helpful. So that's kind of cool. I feel like yours is going to come sooner than later, because I feel like it's always when you least expect it. Like, it's crazy how it works.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come up. It'll come out of the blue too, I'm sure.
Yes. And it's always what we least expect. But I'm like, I kept telling myself that too, of like, we keep talking about all these crazy deals they're doing out there. And I'm like, I feel like in this world too, and maybe that's what we need to talk about, is like a little bit of like traditional versus the creative. But I'm like, this creative finance stuff is awesome. It's really cool to see how you can acquire things. I'm going to say things at this point, because people are doing not only houses and property, but now there's been this talk of doing cars and all kinds of other things that I'm sure I don't even realize that people are subtoing or whatever. But it's just, it's very complicated. And I feel like that's our niche, of like, this isn't just a simple transaction of like, I pay you, I get the title, done. We're all good. Like, I'm like, you need somebody to sit there and go, okay, wait, so how many people are actually in this thing? Like, I mean, I feel like that's what I've been doing all week lately, to be honest with you. It's just like, okay, so who's bringing in money? Well, wait, so then what's your part? Well, then who's that person? Like, I literally hopped on a Zoom at one point and was like, we're going to draw a picture. I need you to go through everybody in this thing, because I'm like, I cannot picture this, and I'm a visual learner. Like, you got to help me out with this. And I'm realizing quickly, I think that might end up my thing going forward is we're going to start with, like, we're kids. Like, draw me the picture. What do you have? What are you missing? It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
before
awesome.
you know it, you'll be 5 people in there, couple private money lenders, and
Yes.
maybe Gator.
That's exactly what happened. Is it started off with like, so I guess I'll tell you a little bit about it. But so I got brought this deal. I thought it was going to be a cash deal. I heard private money lender a little bit in there. Escrow was already opened. So I'm thinking, cool, this is, all right, it's already started. This is a good sign. Because, a lot of people like to kind of come to you, and I don't know if you've had it much, but it's like, oh, the deal's not really like, there's no contract in, there's nothing going, it's like, we're talking about a deal that hasn't happened yet,
Yeah, they're still in the talks.
Right, exactly. I thought, so newbie moment, but I was thinking, okay, cool. They've put their EMD down. They have escrow open. This is great. This is going to be awesome. I heard the mention of private money lender. I thought that's okay. So I thought it was going to be a cash deal. They're just bringing in somebody else. At this point, there is 3 people in a wholesale deal as the end buyers. There's 3 people. Okay. They were each going to bring in, 1 is hard money, 2 were, or 1 was another private money lender. The second one was going to be a Gator or private money lender. We're now working on contracts because we along the way realized that potentially only 1 person was on the title.
Oh.
Yes. So it was one of those like, well, wait, they're coming to me going, how do we protect ourselves? What do we do here? So right to the group is like, well, they need to be on title. We got to figure this out. So we're kind of in a waiting stage right now, but it's been interesting where now I'm going, okay, they've drilled it into us that you need to have a contract. And for any investors listening, please bring a contract to your TC and make sure you are on it. Right, pretty please. It will help us all to help each other. But yeah, it's been interesting because I feel like until you do it, like you said, we go through these courses and you're like, I could do this. And then the very first thing somebody asks you, you're like, one moment.
Yeah.
Right. So it's been interesting, but I'm hoping more will come and we can all help each other get some deals and share a little bit more about what TopTier is, and hopefully it'll become a household name of people will be like, you need to go get a TopTier TC.
Yeah, I think it will be in the future.
I think so too.
It really is.
Yeah.
Pace is doing anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think we forget like how new this is too.
Yeah.
Because I forget we're kind of part of like I said to somebody earlier, I'm like, it's almost like when you like open a new school. It's like we're the first graduating class, right? We kind of, you forget that like not everybody does know what this is, Yeah. It's like we get to go out here and be like, hey, have you heard of TopTier? Do you know what this is? Look, it's very cool. Awesome. Do you have any other thoughts on TopTier? Anything you would recommend or warn people about in joining this?
If you are an investor, please have a contract. That would help us overall. I can't repeat that enough. Other than that, I don't really have much to add then.
Hey, that's fair. That's all right. We're getting the conversation started, and hopefully this will lead to many, many more. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Andy. I appreciate you joining me, and hopefully this will just be the first of several episodes to talk some more about TCs and creative, and who knows, we'll be talking about either your sub 2 program or your deals or whatever else gets thrown at us along the way.
For sure. Good
Awesome.
times.
Right. Until next time.
Yep.